Testing 1, 2. I think we're
Yep,
live.
yep.
All right, sweet.
Yay.
Hello,
So,
hello, hello.
no joke. With my setup, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 pictures of you and me looking at us.
Well, I mean, that's perfect because we're such good-looking people that we should be
It's,
seeing more of each other and ourselves.
yeah, I just realized this, and it's ridiculous. I should really fix this. But anyway, hi. Hello.
Hi.
Who are you?
Hi, I'm Paul Tchaikovsky. I'm a developer advocate at VMware, and I play around with Kubernetes. I do some DevOps. Apparently now I do the DevSecOps as well.
Oh,
Yeah, just
nice.
shifting everything left. Shifting everything left.
Nice. And hi, I'm JJ. I'm a developer advocate for the IBM Cloud, and I spent a lot of time in the Kubernetes ecosystem, and slowly but surely becoming more and more ingrained into the OpenShift ecosystem too. And we, on Thursday afternoons, normally a little bit earlier than we are right now, but we spend a couple hours together doing some fun stuff with Kubernetes to kind of just, you know, show something new, teach something, or whatever. And we always come out with something. Our main goal is to come out with something at the end. There's always something.
You know what I like,
around.
JJ? So you mentioned OpenShift, right? And what I like is you work for a company with this product called OpenShift. I work for this company with a product that competes head to head with OpenShift called Tanzu, right?
Oh, really?
I like that we're still okay with like getting on a stream and like doing stuff together, and we're not worried about getting fired. We're not worried about, you know, sending business to each other's company, because at the end of the day, it's all focused on, like, both products are focused on like upstream open source things. And so we can focus on those things and still talk about, you know, through like kind of inference our own company's products, but in a way that is like, I guess, authentic to like open source and gives us this ability to just hang out and do cool stuff together without having to worry about, oh no, that's my thing, I can't talk about that, or that's his thing, he can't talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Cool.
I like that you act all surprised that we have a competing product.
I know, like I didn't, well, so do I actually want to ask you what is Tanzu? Is that what, because anyway, no, I'm not going to do that.
I'm sorry, did you want to have a 5-hour stream?
Nice. Well, anyway, so today we're gonna kind of go back to some basics today. We've gotten pretty deep in a lot of different conversations and presentations, but we were talking earlier today, and there's an opportunity to kind of show off some neat UX.
Yeah.
So every once in a while, Paul makes fun of me with my typing because I don't have anything really set up. I do everything pretty much by hand, which is, there's some creature comforts that we could do. So we're thinking about just kind of taking a stab there to kind of show off all the different ones, because I don't actually pay attention to any of these things. So Paul does, mainly because 9 out of 10 times when I'm doing it, I just need kubectl to work. And then I'm willing to, you know, bang my head against the wall. So, Paul, how about you drive today?
Oh boy, I better log into something then. Give me a second.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's one of those things, because I'm not gonna like click around and do shit, right? Like it'd be nice just to kind of see like all the different technologies. So okay, take a step back. When you play with Kubernetes, the main interface that a developer has isn't through the GUI, right? Like, yes, there is a dashboard and you can see some stuff, but 9 out of 10 times, if you're a developer and you're playing with Kubernetes, you use something called KUBE CTL. There's a lot of different conversations. There's a lot of different conversations on how to talk about it or how to say that. I'm going to say kubectl because I like to cuddle my Kubernetes clusters, right? I want to cuddle. you can say kubectl or kubecontrol. It doesn't matter. I don't care. But that is normally the main interface. There's a lot of different interesting things off of kubectl. You can tell that the interface was taken directly from Docker. So you can do like docker run -it ubuntu :latest, and you'd get a Ubuntu container. They took that same interface with kubectl to do kubectl run blah 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 to make things happen. But by default, nothing's really set up inside of it. So Paul, if I was coming into this world, what would be the first thing that I should do?
Yeah, so I would say the first thing you should do is build up a decent, comfortable console experience, right? So when you're using kubectl, etc., through a command line, you're not fighting the tools, they're working for you. And so the thing I see, when I see people working with Kubernetes that aren't me, or aren't someone that's already familiar with these tools, it always looks like a lot more of a struggle than it needs to be. And things like changing from one kube cluster to another, or even just like changing from one namespace to another. I'm always having to do kubectl and remember to do like -n and the namespace. The number of times I watch people accidentally deploying things into the default namespace because they forget to do a -n and then have to try and back their way out of that. It happens a lot. So there's a few tools, and I guess I can go ahead and share my screen. I wasn't prepared for sharing my screen, so I've sort of got a bunch of stuff. I can use that window there. So we go ahead and do this.
We can spin up a container and just build everything inside a container, right?
Yeah. Well, I was going to do a quick run through some of the tools. I'll share that.
Well, no, I mean, install it. Okay.
Are you trying to make a joke and I'm not running with it?
No, it's fine. It's right. Not even a very good joke.
All right. Well, I mean, it is you making a joke. Okay, ignore this. Hey. This is Harbor. We're not looking at Harbor. Oh, Radislavable used to say kubectl. Yeah, we all say it wrong. Doesn't matter how you say it wrong. So like, just be cool with saying it wrong and move on, is what I say. Religious battles are for religious zealots, not for DevOpsers.
True.
So what are we looking for? Okay, so kubectx. So this is the first thing I tell people to go look at. And it's called kubectx, which is short for kube context. And it also includes kubeNS, which is kube namespace. And the two of them give you a good way to like work with one or more Kubernetes clusters. And we can show that off. Hey, JJ, on the TMUX machine, have you got a couple of clusters configured?
Give me 2 minutes, I can make that happen.
If you do that while I talk through this a little bit. So it's all open source. It's actually recently, he's been rewriting it in Go. So that's pretty cool.
Was it originally done in PHP?
It used to be Bash, believe it or not.
Oh, wow.
Which is pretty amazing. And so kubectx, you very easily change between clusters. You can see here, he's doing it and he's got, kubectx. He's then choosing which one he wants. He's doing a get pods, he's working, right? kubeNS, we're seeing the same thing, except he's choosing from a particular namespace. And so you use the two in combination so that like, if you're going to be working on Harbor, you're always going to have the Harbor resources in, say, the Harbor namespace. So why not just set your current context to be the Harbor namespace in the cluster it's installed? And that way you're never going to accidentally put a secret in the wrong namespace or apply the change in the wrong namespace. It's always going to be in the right namespace. So those two are super important, especially if you do a lot of work through multiple clusters and namespaces. And then I believe he also has some auto-completion. completion. Yeah, so here it gives you instructions on how to do the auto completion. Somewhere it does.
There's a FZF integration also, isn't there?
A what?
FCF integration.
Oh yeah, yeah. If you want it to like give you like a selectable list of things.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. So this kind of gives you the rough idea of how you get kubectx and how you enable auto completion. So with it being, you used to do this and run the commands directly from here because it was all just like bash. But now that we have Go binaries, we sort of download those separately. So let's go ahead and open up our command prompt. And this is where I realize I should have shared my screen rather than just a browser. Apparently, I'm some kind of amateur who doesn't know how to computer. But I also have a bunch of garbage open. So let me close some stuff. Wow, I have a lot of garbage open. All right. Sorry about this. I think I can just unshare. Nope. I can just do this. Share screen one. All right. Ooh, that's probably zoomed in too much. There we go. That'll do. All righty. So where were we? Yep. So here we are at kubectx. I will bring up my command prompt. I am in. All right. So we're in a tmux. And so what shell do we have? Is this Z shell or bash or?
I'm pretty sure it's Z shell.
What's the best way to tell?
CHSH, I believe.
Oh yeah, because it'll tell you what you currently have. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
ZSH. So let's maybe use. Is it just bin bash? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
JJ.
Shit, I don't actually know. Okay, just Control C out of it. Just type bash instead.
Yeah. Okay, I can do that. Well, the problem is I want to be able to like update bash RC and.
Just source bash RC.
Yeah. All right. Fine. Fine. Okay. So let's just see. Do we have kubectx in here?
Yes.
kubectx and kubns. All right, we do. So we'll pretend that we've installed them. So kubectx version. Oh my God, I can't even type kubectx. Oh, no, -v, -h. Whoa.
Is it really old?
It doesn't have a version command, so I don't even know.
Yeah, so it's probably pre-version.
That's binary, so it's all right. Let's go ahead and get new binaries. So I assume we can just come up to here, click on releases, kubectx. Just grab that. Wait, is that just the binary for Linux there? Linux, Linux x86. Let's grab that. Scratch directory. Really? I can't even type make dir. I've got JJ disease. Right. So let's do this.
Well, if you had tab complete working.
Yeah. So we'll grab that and we will grab this. Okay, tar xavf star.gz. Oh, I can't do that. X and kubns. All right, so move kube star to bin. CTX H. Weird. He just literally doesn't have a version. Anyways.
Well, sounds like a PR is waiting to happen.
Yeah. So we'll go ahead and we'll run kubectx. And so you can see we have a list of clusters that at some point this guy has been like authorized to use, right? So this is looking at the kube config in its default like .kube/config and just grabbing all of the clusters and providing them in a list. Now, interestingly, I can't up or down. So do you not have the what's the package FCF?
FCF. Oh, it's enabled for Z shell, not
gotcha.
Bash.
All right. Well, let's have a look at FZF. You just need to install FZF in your path. Do we not even have it in our path? That's weird. How do we get FZF? So FZF is, what's it say? Command line fuzzy finder. All right. So using, surely there's a, we can just go to releases and download, right? Linux AMD 64 copy. Okay.
This is very interesting.
All right. See now, if we just run SCF, it gives us like an LS, but it likes us select between the two. So now if we do kubectx, we can actually choose one. And so we have one that's set, so we'll just leave it as that. So now if I do a kubectl get nodes, we can see what's there. We could do kubectl get namespaces. As you can see, there's a bunch of namespaces there. So if I want to work on drone, I can do kubens drone. And see my active namespace is now drone. So now I can do a kget pods. And you can see I have a, oh, hang on one second. I'm going to sneeze.
Oh. You okay? Oh, you're silenced.
No, I managed to mute myself before I sneezed, so I didn't explode your eardrums. It's definitely allergy season, and I was just reminded that I forgot to take my Zyrtec.
Yes.
Or I have the COVID, one or the other.
There you go.
So I just tried to run K because that's an alias I have, which isn't on here, which we'll get to in a bit. What I meant to do was kubectl get pod. And so you can see now because I set kubens drone, I'm only seeing stuff that's in the drone namespace. So that lets me really easily pick between like kube system, like whatever. Oh my God, I'm trying to use my shortcuts. So now I can do get pods. So we'll fix our aliases up real soon because I keep typing things badly because they're not there. So you can see I just switch between namespaces really easily. So this is a godsend and makes things really good for when you're dealing with multiple apps in multiple namespaces across multiple clusters. So what is next? And actually, let me make my screen bigger because my text might be a bit small. All right, so next we have, okay, so we're in Bash, so we'll stick to Bash and we'll pop back to kubectx and look for completion. All right, so I think we want to just clone this down. And we'll just do it here. Get clone there. So tmux scratch. Let's look for the completion instructions. Tab completion. Now, if you're on a Mac, if you do brew install, it'll do the completion for you and stuff, which helps a little bit. Maybe if we were using packages, we would get the same. But I rather than using Linux packages, I tend to put them into my home directory bin. And so I kind of do this manually. Although Homebrew does exist on Linux now, which weirds me out. But our friend and fellow podcast co-host, Matt Broberg, he's down with the brew on Linux. And I'm starting to think that I should be a little bit more open to doing that. Now here, it's got ZSH instructions. Here's our bash instructions. So what are we doing? Compter. Oh, I see. So we're getting our bash autocompletion directory. And we'll actually have a look at what that is. Compter. There isn't one. Interesting. Okay, so how do we fix that? Why are computers so hard?
That's a great question.
Doesn't work. Comp init. Okay. All right. Bash empty completion variable. Nope.
All right, we're getting somewhere. Sorry, I've almost made the version flag for kubectx.
Oh my goodness, look at you.
Yeah, it turns out it's the way you set up this project, it's actually not that hard. So maybe in a minute we can pivot and I can see how this goes.
What is this, Fedora? What's the machine we're in?
CentOS 8, I think.
CentOS.
I think so. I don't actually know. Give me a second. Cats. 7.7. Wow, even worse.
Okay.
Do I not have bash completion on this thing?
Yeah, CentOS install bash completion.
Oh, I think I just need to go in his root and fix it real quick. Hang on.
Yeah, you need bash dash completion.
Oh, hang on. I can't. Yeah, give me a second. I can't spell. Complete. And thanks. There we go.
All right, so now I think I can do that. And now I can do this. And we're there. Yay.
Yay.
Now, interestingly, it's giving me a user share. Can I not provide my own? Let's see. All right. How do I make that work? All right, I might just need to pump you some things to do.
Okay.
Because I won't have access because you won't give me root.
Nope.
So let's do this. Right, so it's not letting me do that, but that's effectively what you want to do, except you want to do like CP. Oh, CD scratch. CP. Tmarks scratch.
Are you trying to put it in
completion
user local?
Star.bash to, yeah, what was the directory?
User local something.
User local. Oh. Compter/kubectl, yeah. Tmark scratch.
I don't know if that ding noise.
I'm not getting a ding noise.
Oh, I am.
So that's the command I need you to run as root.
Done.
Done. And then I think I can do that once more. And then I can do kubectx. Yes. No.
Oh, wait, I don't have Compter exported, so it didn't go anywhere.
I hate you so much.
Wait, what is Compter supposed to be?
Here,
Can you echo Compter for me? Now try it. Source it.
CTX. Kubernetes. Oh. All right. Well, that's not working. Kubectl get. Yeah, kubectl auto completion isn't working either. So let's hold there because what I wanted to show you was starship.rs. So this is a cross shell prompt. So this is what gives us can give us like a ZFS like prompt, but on Bash. So let's go ahead and install this. And I think it installs locally, so we're not going to fight root. Nope.
I'll do it over here.
Yeah, if you could go ahead and sudo that.
Just thinking about it. There you go.
So now we can do this eval, and then we have a prompt. So you can see default, we have the cluster, we have the namespace we're in. So now if I do ns kube system, kubeNS kube system, you can see this in brackets here has changed. And if I do a cd to kubectx, it actually sees we're in a Git directory. So it tells us that we're in the master branch. And I don't know what the via hamster means, but that's okay. So it'll look at the kind of directory we're in. It'll look at our various configs. I think if you're configured to a authenticated to like AWS, it'll show you which AWS account you're in. Same with Google Cloud, stuff like that. So it gives you a lot of rich information about like what you're currently doing, which is super helpful. Because now, anytime I'm using my terminal, I always know which kube cluster I'm attached to and which my default kube namespace is, which is super useful. And it's also available in like PowerShell. And so you can make your like Windows terminal look like your Linux terminal, which is also super useful. Although if you're in Windows, you should be using WSL, which you'll notice I'm using Windows, but 90% of my work is done on an Ubuntu VM through WSL2, which is super, super good. And even like I run VS Code and that's running in Windows, but it has direct access to the file system in my Ubuntu Linux. So it's like gives me a native experience, even though it's like a VM or whatever running under the surface. So that's kind of that done. I'm confused as to why autocompletion is not working, but I don't want to waste a bunch of time on it. I usually use ZSH and it just works there. And actually on my Ubuntu, the bash autocompletion just works too. So I guess that one of the differences between Ubuntu and CentOS is Ubuntu kind of gives you a bunch of defaults that are focused at like a user experience, whereas CentOS tends to give you defaults that are more like a server experience. So that might explain why Ubuntu kind of assumes you want autocompletion and CentOS might not. And also JJ is running an old version of CentOS, so that also might have something to do with it. So that's those done. So now I've got a rich prompt. We've got Kubernetes, we've got kubectx. We should have autocompletion. The only thing left is I have all these things which are aliases and they are just not here. And I think yeah, here we go.
Thank you so much for that comment. I appreciate that. Little Help wrote says these are great tips.
Oh, cool. I'm glad someone is finding it useful. So here is this kubectl aliases, and he literally has like 800 aliases. So basically what he does, and he does it programmatically because programmers are got to program all the time to do everything. But what it basically means is you can see like K is just kubectl, KG is kubectl get, KGPO is kubectl get pod. So you can kind of see how that's coming about and how it's being generated. And so you can kind of reason about what you're doing. You kind of just becomes pretty instinctive to use that thing. Now he's chosen KRM for kubectl delete, I guess because in Linux we do RM to delete files. So why not do the same? Kubectl service. Look at this. Kubectl service watch namespace. Kubectl service show labels namespace, right? So all sorts of interesting stuff. So we'll just go ahead and get this installed. And this is a simple file right here. So let's go ahead and just grab like the raw version of this file. So I'll just do copy link address and come to here and then just do a wget like that. And I think we can just do kubectl aliases like that with a dot in front. Really? There we go. So now if I do a KPO, oh, come on, are you kidding me?
Source, to source.
I did. The dot's the same as doing source.
sometimes it gets bitchy.
No. Unless this is the CentOS thing.
Might be. I don't know. Try
APO.
now. Nope.
Oh, phew, it's not just me. Okay. So let's just double check that this file is right. Oh, .kubectl aliases. KP. Oh, it's me that's the problem. It's KGPO for kubectl get pod. So now if
I got it.
If I just want a shortcut for kubectl, I can just use K. So I can do K get pods, or I can do KPO, KGPO.
It just doesn't like you. It's just that simple.
KG kube get service, right? And it's drone, change the here. So the other aliases I do is alias ns to kubeNS and alias ctx equals kubectx, right? So now I can just do ns default spell, I can do ns drone, I can do krm drone. Oh, there we go. Auto completion is working for these aliases. Look at this.
Yeah.
So I can do KRM deployment. All right, so drone. And boom, like that's just deleted JJ's drone deployment, which is probably not something he wanted me to do.
Yeah, it's fine.
But you know, that's the fun of using someone else's cluster. It's all care and no
Yeah.
responsibility.
That's true. It
So
is true.
I guess that auto completed because it's an alias versus the like auto completion of the alias. Let's have one quick look back at kubectx, and just in case I was missing something obvious for the completions. What? Oh, I need to have that in my path. Uh-huh.
Mm.
Or is that just for, I'm really confused. Because let's have a quick look in, oh, I don't want to be here. Yeah, that path is just to get to the kubectx and kubeNS binaries, which we already have.
Mm.
Anyways, for whatever reason, that's not working, but we can deal with it. We can do kgpo, kget. So we haven't got kubectl auto completion either. Kubectl auto completion bash. Maybe this will have something we're missing. Oh, look at this.
Mm.
Oh. This is giving us a different directory. Hey, JJ, run this for us.
All right. Give me a second. Done.
Let's find that thing where we were sourcing it earlier. Kubectl get pod. Yeah, it's still not.
Hmm.
Is that definitely the command I'm running? Oh. Kubectl get. Oh. Oh, it's working. I was sourcing the wrong. Either I read a document wrong or one of the docs was wrong or whatever, but that's that working. Does that mean that Kubernetes is now? Nope. Anyways, who cares? Let's move on. So now we've got a pretty good like environment for working with Kubernetes. There was a couple of other things we mentioned. Do you remember what they were, JJ? Like when we were talking in Slack about.
Yeah, we talked about NS. We talked about CTX. We talked about Spaceship. There was. Oh, I don't.
Can you have a look? I just don't want to fight through Slack with on my screen share. I don't
yeah. Give me a second.
There was KubeCost, I think, was one of them.
I just learned about KubeCost the other day, but unfortunately, I don't think it works on the IBM Cloud. Oh, there's registry creds. Registry creds.
Oh yeah, that was the other one. Yeah, do you want to paste the thing for that? Okay, so KubeCost is like a way to get a rough idea of how much your Kubernetes cluster is costing you. So I figure we could probably just go ahead and run this and see what happens.
It'll work for me if it's what I think it is.
Let me just froyo this guy. So that's going to apply it into a namespace that doesn't exist, or is it going to create the namespace? Let's just froyo it and see what happens.
Okay.
Not my cluster, therefore it's not up to me to fix it if I break it. Yeah, okay, so we need to create that namespace. Again, thanks open source project for having documentation that doesn't work. But that's okay. We're not idiots. We can figure this out, I think. So we now have a bunch of stuff starting up. We need to switch to that.
Right. It's only GKE, Azure, and AWS right now.
Well, I think that's to get like automatic costs. I think it'll still show us the graphs and show us where we can input figures, I think.
Oh, okay, cool.
Unless it's changed a bunch since last time I looked at it. And what was the other one, JJ?
I'll put them in the links on the thing.
Oh yeah, I've moved on.
Oh, okay. Give me a second.
It's easier for you to repaste them if they're easy, if they're handy.
Here's one copy. That one.
All right. Let's clone that, right? Yeah. I don't know if we need to, but anyways. So registry creds is, so hopefully by now, most of us are using our own registries and not just using Docker Hub directly. Obviously, they brought about the new rate limits. And so you'll be having a bad time if you're using Docker Hub directly, unless you're a paying Docker customer. And what I have seen happen is I've actually seen people have a spike in traffic, tried to spin up more pods in a deployment, more replicas, and had them fail because they hit the rate limits. So suddenly you're unable to serve your customers. And if you're some kind of e-commerce, that's like flushing money down the drain. So that alone is a very obvious reason to use your own registry. Plenty of the registries, like Harvest specifically, will let you do a proxy. And we actually did that as a demo a few weeks back. And that works really well. But when you do that, you now need to tell Kubernetes how to authenticate to your cluster. And you do that through a service account with a secret or some other things. And so what this tool here does is it basically kind of automates some of that. So they're telling you why. So here's a normal thing. You create a secret, you edit your service account and add that name of secret to image pool secrets. And secrets and namespaces, so you'd have to do this in every single namespace you want to run pods in.
Mm-hmm.
And so this basically alleviates the need to do that. So I guess if you want to install it, you like double click on the Kubernetes icon there. No.
Mm-hmm.
That was a joke. I didn't realize it would actually take me somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what we do. We froyo a manifest into our cluster. So let me hit that. Now it doesn't tell me exactly where that's going to install it. So let's be a little bit sensible. Let's wget this down. And we'll give it a different name, -o, and we'll call it regcred.yaml. Right, and let's have a look at regcred.yaml. Okay, it does create a namespace. So we will go ahead. Oh, you know, have you used cap, JJ? Have we talked about cap?
No.
All right, let me show you this using cap, because I quite like this app here. So let's go to releases. We'll grab the cap Linux AMD 64. wget this cap to bin. Oh, cap to bin cap mod plus x bin cap. All right, so cap is a kind of inline replacement for kubectl create or kubectl apply. And so what cap will do, if I do cap deploy, I need to give it an app name, so we'll call it -a regcred and namespace. Let me see, what do we want to do? So let's do this. K create ns cap apps.
Excuse me.
And then regcred -f regcred. Pardon you. Why didn't that work? Oh, look at me like some kind of idiot. You see what I did?
No, I didn't. Oh.
Tell me what's wrong with this picture.
Octothorpe.
Yeah, very good. Octothorpe. That's a big word.
Mm.
All right. So now I run this. Does not. Oh, -f. All right. So here I'm deploying it. I'm giving it an app name of regcred. I'm telling it to use this namespace cap apps, and I'm giving it a manifest here. Now this cap apps is not the namespace in which the manifest will be installed. It's the manifest in which the metadata for the app will be installed. And so I generally have like one namespace for all that metadata, just to keep things sane. So we'll go ahead and do that. And look, instead of just going ahead and doing it, it actually said, these are the things I'm going to do. So I'm going to I'm going to create these resources. If I'd already run this, next time I do it, it would be a no-op. If I was to do this and just change the deployment, it would be a no-op apart from the deployment. And then you can, using annotations, you could actually say that if I had a config map, I could say the deployment is dependent on that config map. And then when I did a cap app, it would actually see that the config map changed, so it would roll the deployment for me.
Mm-hmm.
And so it lets you do a lot more intelligent things. It's asking if I want to continue, yes, no. I could have just done a -y in the command and it would have automatically done a yes. Here's the other thing it does. It attempts to do things in the order in which Kubernetes likes them to be done.
Oh,
so
wow.
if you have CRDs, it will make sure CRDs are running before it does the rest. Namespaces, it'll make sure the namespace is there before it does the rest. And then in annotations, you can also do annotations to say, hey, Cap, wait for this other thing to be done before you start this one. And that way, if you do have an app that gets really, really mad until its database is up, you can actually use Cap annotations to say, spin up the database, wait till its deployment shows is ready, then spin up my application. And so that's super useful.
Yeah.
And also it does mean that like, you're not just like throwing things into the ether and hoping for the best. Instead, you're like actually polling and watching and monitoring. You
kind of buried the lead on this one, my friend.
Yeah. This is actually a really cool app. It's part of the Carvel suite. So there's also YTT and image package and vendor and a bunch of other stuff. But this is the one that, like, if I want to show off the Carvel stuff to people, I'll start with Cap, because that's the one that gives like immediate, oh, this is really cool. And it's also stands alone on its by itself. So you don't need to use the entire Carvel suite to get really good value out of Cap. So I do like to show off Cap. So that's that done. So let's have a look at, you see we're still in the kube cost namespace. So let's look at our pods there. Are we up and running? Not completely. Oh, it's got node exporters. So it's probably failing those. But Grafana is running. Does it have a service? Ooh. It has a service. It is just that. So
local proxy.
Yeah, but then we need to fight it.
Oh, and also we're through the through the.
Hey, you know what we should do? If we were less stupid, we would port forward a bunch of stuff through SSH. So when we do kube port forwards, we'd actually
just
access
work.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, we should probably put a script together to do that, so we don't have to think about it.
Because that would be super useful. But I can just do edit the service here and go to type. Here, load balancer. So I'm turning that into a load balancer. So now I do a get service again. Oop. Okay, get service. We already have an external IP. So remind me we need to turn this off because I don't want to leave weird stuff exposed on your cluster.
I'm actually surprised you got the external IP because I think I ran out on that machine.
Well.
No, that's just Grafana pissed.
Yeah, it might still be taking a minute. Question mark, question mark. All right, so let's move on from kube cost. We'll call that a bust. So let's have a look at, what was the other thing we installed? Okay, get NS. NS registry cred. Let's look at. So we installed it. The easy way with Arcade. Wait, where's Arcade coming from? Has he buried a command? Wait, oh. you can also use the Arcade project to install a self-hosted registry. Have you heard of this?
No, I've not.
Well. Are we learning something on the fly?
I think we are.
What's happening here?
Oh, this is Alex trying to do his own thing.
Arcade project portal marketplace for downloading your favorite DevOps CLIs and installing Helm charts with us. Oh, he lost me.
Yeah. Good old Alex.
Alex, what are you doing?
Doing his thing.
I don't understand. Oh, I see. So Arcade is effectively Yum or apt, or Yarn or Brew or whatever, but for Kubernetes. So yeah, I see. So he's installing Ingress, installing Cert Manager, Docker Registry Ingress, Yawn. All right, I thought that was going to be way more exciting. Anyways,
probably is tied into OpenFast. You know, the Open Function as a Service project. They probably had a bunch of dependencies, so they probably created Arcade to deal with those dependencies, and then they just threw it on a bunch of other stuff on top of it.
Yeah. All right. So here he's just grabbing registry creds from his local thing. But here's actually the better way, right? So we won't actually go ahead and do this. Well, actually, we could. So let's go ahead and do this. And we'll just use the exact example here because we're not actually going to exercise it. We just want to see it. So we are creating a secret called Docker Registry. And it's a secret type of registry creds. So if we go ahead and do a k-get secret -n kube system registry cred secret. So we have that secret there. We -o YAML it. You can see we gave it username, password, and stuff, but it's created a Docker config JSON, and base64 encoded that because it's secret. So that is basically telling Kubernetes how to log into my registry. And then I would update a service account and tell it to use it. But instead of doing that, I can use this cluster pull secret. Oh, and you can see there's ways of not allowing it for namespaces, but we'll go ahead and run this. Oh, goodness. Really? blurg.yaml, blurg, because that's how I feel about me just doing dumb stuff. And then I forget to set paste. Oh, I hate computers. I really do. Is it just set paste like that? Yeah. All right. So now we can k apply -f blurg. Dude, are you serial?
It's just not happy.
Like what? Are you telling me that Alex doesn't know that this isn't cool?
That is surprising.
Hey, JJ, there's another thing for you to do while I'm typing.
Yeah, hang on. I'm going to get that one. So I almost got the other one working, but didn't quite land it. But I put a draft PR in.
Docker registry.
There you go.
All right. K apply -f blurg. All right. So that's our cluster pull secret created. So let's see what it actually did. So k-get ns registry cred system, I guess. Oh, we didn't talk about Stern.
Oh, Stern. Now that is a win. Stern has saved my butt so many times
Yeah,
now.
so if you're not familiar with Stern, it is an alternative to kubectl logs. Is it kubectl logs or kubectl get logs?
Go to logs. I always get it wrong too.
Right. So ordinarily you would do k get pods, and you would do k logs registry creds -f whatever. Stern, I can just do stern dot because there's only one pod, so I don't like. I could type it out. It does pattern matching, so if I wanted to, I could just do stern reg, and everything with the name that starts with reg would be used, and then it just prints out the logs. And then here we go, successfully reconciled. Yeah, so for all of my namespaces, it's gone ahead and created a secret Docker registry creds. So if I go into the drone namespace, okay, get secrets, you can see I now have registry creds. Okay, edit service account default. And you can see the default service accounts have had this secret put in as an image pool secret. So now any of my default service accounts can access my registry without me having to go and set it up on every single one. And that is really freaking useful.
Mm-hmm.
And if I, as an admin, want to tell it to not do specific namespaces, there's instructions up here on how I can do that. So that is that. JJ, thoughts? I feel like we're at a pretty good space to call this a successful stream.
Yeah, I do too. And I just believe, check out PR 28.
Oh, look at you. Right up to the top. Pull requests. If you copy pasta, this it breaks by JJ Asgar. Wow. Love it.
Yep.
JJ fixing the open source.
Yeah, that's what I'm good at doing.
You're on your way to earning your shirt for the call for code or whatever it is. All right. So let's just quickly do a run through of what we did. We set up, we were just running bash. So we set up Starship, and that gives us our nice little prompt here. Shows us our kube cluster, our current namespace, the directory we're in, and because it is a Git repo, it tells us about the Git branch we're in and stuff. So that's pretty cool.
Kubernetes.
Yes, we did kubens and we did kubectx. So now we can easily change which Kubernetes cluster we're talking to and which Kubernetes namespace is our default. What else did we do? We set up auto completion with partial success. We did our aliases. So kgpo. We set up kubectl get pod. So auto completion for kubectl, we got that working, but not for kubenes and kubectx because at the end of the day, we're idiots. We had a look at Stern. We failed to look at kubecost. We looked at registry creds and it worked great. Is that it? Did we look at something else? I feel like there was something else we looked at. Starship, kubenes, kubectx, aliases, Stern, Cap. Yeah, I think that's
That's
probably
about
about
it.
it.
Yeah.
So we had a good run through a bunch of stuff. If you work on Kubernetes a lot, any and or all of these tools will make your life a lot easier and a lot more tolerable. And I think I'm ready to end it on that. JJ, any final words of wisdom?
Nope. Apart from do your homework, play around with these. You don't have to use them all. You can use one or two, but you will gain things if you like just the aliases alone.
Right.
If you stick with the aliases, things will make life a hell of a lot better.
Yeah, and you may have noticed I don't actually use a ton of the aliases. I tend to be okay with just not having to type kubectl. So get pods. That's kind of my comfort level. But like the deeper you go into the aliases and the more you use them, the more you'll be comfortable with the shortcuts.
Mm-hmm.
I just haven't spent as much time in the aliases as I had the other stuff. Cool. All right. Well, let's end it there. JJ, I will see you in about half an hour because apparently we like to do things together on Thursdays.
Actually, check the thread.
Oh boy.
All right. Well, thanks everybody. Bye.
Bye.